have completed our cluster constructors. Now we are on a topic called destructor. Destructor is nothing but it is used to destroy the object object created by a constructor. That means whenever we are creating a constructor, we'll be creating an object too. So to destroy this object, we'll be using a destructor. Why we need to destroy an object? Why? Because whenever you are creating an object, it occupies some space like memory. It will be occupying some memory. To release that memory, to delete that space, to delete that memory, we'll be using a destructor. The name itself says that destroy or a delete. This is why we use to free up a storage. So a constructor constructs a memory, whereas a destructor destroys or deletes the memory. Whereas destructor is also called as a function or special member which deletes the memory created by the constructor. A constructor always creates an object. That object will occupy some space. To delete that object, will be going for a destructor. So if you want to use destructor, the class name should be preceded by a tilde symbol. That means if you want to use destructor in a program, you need to use a symbol called tilde with a class name. For example, C tilde and the class name. So we'll see a sample program. Class sample is a class name. You have created a constructor called sample and you want to destroy the constructor. So you have created destructor with a tilde symbol sample. So, and a constructor can have a arguments, but a destructor should not have a arguments. So whenever you are creating a constructor, you can have an arguments. Whenever you are creating a destructor does not have any arguments. Let us see a program in a textbook. This is how you will be creating the destructor. Class name, and public is nothing but a member function, and this is how you will be destructor, tilde symbol and a class name. And we'll see the program. So we'll be having a IO string using namespace std, connu.h and string.h. Class student, class name is that. Let us create a class that is nothing but a student class. In that we'll be having a data members and variables. Int role is a role as in a variable, char name as in a variable, and float marks as in a variable. So we have created a public member function, and now we want to create a constructor. So student is on a default constructor. Because why it is called default constructor? Because we have not passed any arguments. That's why it is called a default constructor. If we want, we can pass an arguments also. The next one is that initialize some values with an object data. That means we have created a variables. That variables we are giving some values to that variable. For a name, we have given a strcpy because it is on a string. That's why. Okay, the next one, we are using a return type called void. In that void, we ask them to display. That means it will be displaying the roll number, name, marks which you have given in the constructor. So it occupies some space. Now you want to destroy that constructor. So we have using the tilde symbol, and the student is nothing but the constructor which you have created. When it comes for the destructor, the program will be printed as end of the program. So this is a class. So class always ends with a brace and semicolon. And now we are going for the main function, that is student. We have created an object. Object is created, constructor is invoked. So every time when we execute a program, that program always starts with a main function. So we have created a student as a class name, and with that class we have created an object. So S1 should be display. The student class need to be displayed. Then get ch and return 0. So it will be displaying the things which you have mentioned in the data. So they occupy some bytes. The data will be occupied some bytes. To erase this data, we use destructor. So it directly goes for the destructor, then it destroys the occupied space, then it will be prints the end of a program. So this is the destructor topic. See, in the above program, default constructor is automatically called when object S1 is created. So this default constructor, the default constructor above constructor, is automatically called when S1 object is created. The class data members are initialized in a default constructor. So destructor is automatically called when the object S1 goes out of a scope of main. So that means that is nothing but when you want to delete some space, you will be going for the destructor. So this is the topic of a destructor.